And we're back to talk about how to go back and forth between forms. Now, standard form is everybody's probably least favorite form. The only thing that it really tells you is the y-intercept. That's about it, right? Vertex form gives you the vertex. Intercept form at least gives you the x-intercepts, so you don't have to solve for them. But standard form really just gives you the y-intercept, and then there's not that much that you could do with it, okay? So let's talk about how to go from vertex standard form to vertex form or intercept form or anything like that. Okay, now vertex form was y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. If you think back to solving, when we did a lot of solving, right, which remember I said to find the x-intercepts on any of these, to find the x-intercepts, you could factor, you could do square root, you could do completing the square, okay, complete the square, or you could do quadratic formula, which was your kind of last resort, right? If you put it in vertex form, essentially what you're doing is completing the square, right? You're getting it to be something squared plus something else, right? A had to equal 1, so we'll deal with that in a little bit. But if you can complete the square with this, then essentially you've put it in vertex form. So let's take a look at this. So if you have f of x equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 5, I'm going to write that as y equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 5. Now, if you think back to when we did completing the square, a had to equal 1, and this other number had to be the number that worked to complete the square. So I'm going to move both of those over to the other side. So I'm going to start by dividing out the negative 1. So I'm going to say negative y equals x squared minus 4x plus 5. And now I'm going to subtract the 5. So I have negative y minus 5 equals x squared minus 4x. Okay, and now I'm going to complete the square, which meant that I'm going to have to add to both sides. So what's the value here that would complete the square? Well, remember that to find c, that was just c equals b over 2 squared. So that would be negative 4 divided by 2 squared would just be positive 4. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So now I have negative y minus 1 equals, I completed the square, I turned that into a perfect square trinomial. So now I can factor that, and that's going to be x minus 2 squared. Okay. Don't forget that you can go back. Like I made videos on all this, right? So you can go back and watch the video on completing the square if you do forget how to complete the square. Okay, now I want it in vertex form. So normally from completing the square from there, you would solve, right? Like you would square root both sides and go from there. What I'm going to do is get y by itself. So I'm going to add the 1 back over. So now I have negative y equals x minus 2 squared plus 1. And then I'm going to divide everything by the negative 1. So that would be y equals, or f of x equals negative x minus 2, forgot your squared, because this is not going to change. But this positive 1 is going to change to a negative 1. And this plus 1 is also going to change to a negative 1. And then boom. There is standard form converted to vertex form. So one way to do it is to complete the square. That's option 1. Now, the other option is back what we did up here. We didn't complete the square on any of these, yet we still found the vertex and we knew what A was. So use this formula. That's your other option. Find out what the vertex is. We already know that A is negative 1, so I know that. So now I'm going to find the vertex using that formula. X equals negative b over 2a. So it would be negative 4 over 2 times a was negative 1. So negative 4 divided by negative 2 is just 2. And then I'm going to find out what f of 2 is. So I'm going to plug that in. So I get negative 2 squared plus 4 times 2 minus 5. So the 2 squared is 4, but this negative in front makes it negative 4 plus 8 minus 5, which would be negative 1. So my vertex is at 2, negative 1, and then there's your h and your k, and then we already knew that a was negative 1. So y equals, a is -1 or just negative, and I'm going to say f of x actually because it was f of x. Okay, equals negative x minus h, which was 2, squared plus k, which was -1. Boom, that's it. Okay, and that's option 2. Now, it doesn't really matter which one you do. Don't forget that you do still need to know how to complete the square, right? You've got midterms coming up. That's also going to help you find the x-intercepts as needed. You know, that's sometimes easier than quadratic formula, right? But option 2 is just to find the vertex in A. And that you have that formula x equals -b over 2a, and then you could plug that in to find the vertex, okay? So it's up to you what you want to do. To be honest, I kind of like option 2. I just feel like that's a little bit easier than completing the square. And then there's going to be less room for error because you're more doing numerical computations instead of like plugging things in, rearranging, all of that, okay? So that's what I'm going to do on these next ones. So if I rewrite these in vertex form, find A, find the vertex, okay? Right here, I already know that A is going to be 3. So now I'm going to find the vertex. So x equals -b over 2a. So that would be 12, because -12 would be 12 over 2 times a is 3. So that's 6. So 12 divided by 6 is 2. Okay, and now I'm going to find f of 2 equals 3 times 2 squared minus 12 times 2 plus 14. And we're going to need to be careful on these is that you're not like rushing through anything, right? So 3 times 2 squared, that's 4. So 3 times 4 is 12, minus 2 times 12 is 24, plus 14. So 12 and 14 is 26 minus 24. That would be 2. So here was your h coordinate of the vertex. There's your k coordinate of the vertex. So y equals, a is 3 times x minus h, which is x minus 2 squared, plus 2. That's it. Okay. Y, f of x, remember that they're the same thing, so it doesn't necessarily matter, but try to make it match, okay? And then taking a look over here, I already know that a is 2, so now I'm going to find my x coordinate or the h of the vertex, right? So that would be -10, b over 2 times a is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. This is going to be a fraction, so -10 over 4 would simplify to -5 over 2. So now I'm going to find g of -5 over 2. So that would be 2 times -5 over 2 squared plus 10 times -5 over 2 plus 7. Okay. Now, -5 over 2 squared is -5 over 2 times -5 over 2. That would be 25 fourths. Okay. So 2 times 25 fourths, that would be 50 over 4. That's just going to simplify to 25 over 2. That numerator just kind of cancels out with the denominator. Okay, so that would be 25 over 2. Right here, keeping a common denominator, right? So just do 10 times -5. So that would be minus 50 over 2, which is 25, but we need a common denominator. Plus, not 7 over 2, but 14. 7 times 2 is 14 over 2. Okay? So 25 and 14, that's going to be 39 minus 50 over 2, which would be -11 over 2. And for this, it's fine to have fractions. We've been having fractions. I don't have to graph this, so it's fine. Just remember that's your h, that's your k. So then g of x equals, a was 2 times x plus 5 over 2, because remember that it was x minus h, and h is negative, squared, minus 11 over 2. That's it. So that's how you go from standard form to vertex form. Now, to go from standard form to intercept form, I need the intercepts. Vertex form was y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. I need the vertex. Intercept form is y equals a times x minus p times x minus q. And make sure that you're getting these memorized. They are all on your pink paper, so make sure that you've got that pink paper down, okay? This is essentially just factored form. So this is just going to be factored form. So if you factor this, then you're going to know what it is in intercept form. You could solve it. So if you were like, I really want to do quadratic formula, you could do quadratic formula and solve it. That's just a lot more work because these are going to be factorable, okay? So to put this in factored form, I'm going to do my sums and my products, right? So I'm going to find out this h of x you don't have to worry about. Like I'm just focusing on factoring this. It's all on one side, so I'm good to just jump in. So I need a sum of 1, and I need a product of 2 times negative 10, which is going to be negative 20. So they need to multiply to give you negative, add to give you positive. That's going to be 5 and negative 4. So now I'm going to factor it. I'm not worrying about h of x right now. So that's going to be 2x squared, break up your middle term, plus 5x minus 4x minus 10, and now I'm going to factor it. So in that first half, I could take out x, which is going to leave you with 2x plus 5. In the second half, I could take out negative 2, which is going to leave you with 2x plus 5, so know that I factored it right. Okay, I'm going to put that leading coefficient first, so I'm going to do 2x plus 5 times x minus 2. Now, that's factored, but intercept form is a. So I'm not going to put a 2 out here like that because a was 2. I already have a 2. The 2 was distributed in to one of your factors. So to take that out, I'm going to have to continue factoring this, okay? A needs to be taken out. Notice this is 1x, 1x. So right here I have 2x. That's fine. Factor out what you need, which is a 2. So that would be 2 times x plus, if I take out a 2, that would be divided, right? You're undistributing. So 5 divided by 2. And then that would be x minus 2, because this 2 was only distributed to the first factor, right? And then that's it. H of x equals 2 times x plus 5 over 2 times x minus 2. Okay. Anytime that a is in one of your factors, you need to factor out a. I didn't factor anything out of this because the 2 wasn't in that factor. The 2 was here. It was 2x. But my formula is a times x minus whatever. So if you have that factor in there, take that out. So that just becomes 5 divided by what I factored out too. If you had, I'm making stuff up, if you had 3x minus 7 and you have to factor out a 3, that would just become x minus 7 over 3 because you factored it out. Okay? Now let's take a look at another one over here. So I have everything on one side, right? So I'm going to kind of ignore that j of x for now, and I'm going to factor it. So sum to negative 13, and product is negative 30. Now, it's not negative 10 and negative 3. That would add to give you negative 13, but that doesn't give you a product of negative 30. That gives you a product of positive 30. So it's not 3 and 10, okay? So you have to think of your other options. It's not 6 and 5 either, but it is 15 and 2. And if I make that negative 15, then this is going to factor. This is going to work, okay? So I have 6x squared minus 15x plus 2x minus 5. And then I'm going to factor by grouping, so I'm going to look at this, right? So the first half, I could take out 3x, which leaves you with 2x minus 5. And then in the second half, I could take out a 1, which leaves you with 2x minus 5. So one of my factors is 3x plus 1, and my other factor is 2x minus 5. Now, I have to factor out a 6. A is 6, right? So I need to have 6 out front with everything else with x. So this one, I'm going to have to factor out twice. I have to factor 3 out of the first half. So that would give you 3 times x plus 1/3. But then the 2 was out of the second half. So if I take 2 out of the second half, factor out that 2, then I'm left with x minus 5 over 2. And now that's where I get that 6 from, and now these are in the right format. So j of x equals 6 times x plus 1/3 times x minus 5 halves. So to do a quick recap, to go from standard form to vertex form or intercept form, in vertex form you find the vertex, And in intercept form, you find the intercept, so you factor it. Now, if they're in another form, so like right here, I could see this is an intercept form and this is in vertex form, and you want them in standard form. Standard form was y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. There's no parentheses in there, okay? So what you're going to end up doing is you're just going to distribute everything. And you have to be really careful as you're distributing because you don't want to distribute too much, which happens, but you also don't want to distribute too little, okay? So when distributing, I like to tackle kind of the biggest thing first. So right here I have f of x equals 1/2 times x minus 3 times x plus 6. I'm going to distribute all of this part first, and I'm going to worry about the 1/2 in a minute. So it's going to be 1/2 times whatever this is, and then I'll worry about distributing the a. So x times x would be x squared. Okay, x times 6 would be 6x. And then that would be minus 3x, and then negative 3 times 6 would be 18. So 6x minus 3x is just positive 3x. Then you distribute the 1/2. So that would be f of x equals 1/2 x squared plus 3/2 x plus 18 split in half is 9. Okay, that's it. Notice that I did a last. I really like to distribute the parenthesis part first. You don't really want to distribute the half and then it just kind of goes from there. You get more fractions. So distribute all of this and then distribute your a last, okay? Now that was intercept form. This one's going to be vertex form. So I'm going to start with this part first. So that's going to be negative 3. X minus 5 squared is x minus 5 times x minus 5. And this plus 7 out here. The negative 3 isn't going to this, right? Told you a goes last, so we'll do a, and then we'll worry about this plus 7 because that's not with the a part. That's not being distributed. This negative 3 isn't going over there to the 7, okay? So this is going to be negative 3 times x minus 5 times x minus 5. That's a perfect square trinomial. That's going to be x squared minus 10x plus 25. So hopefully you kind of remember your PST rules, but you can also just distribute everything if you want to distribute everything like what we did before, okay, plus 7. Now I'm going to distribute the negative 3, so that's negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times negative 10 would be plus 30x. And then negative 3 times 25 is going to be minus 75 plus 7. That negative 3 didn't go to that, so now I just combine like terms. So g of x equals negative 3x squared plus 30x minus 68. And that's it. So to go from intercept form or vertex form, you distribute. But if you go to intercept form, you can factor. And you could still factor with completing the square to vertex form, but you can also just do that option too. Okay? And that's how you go back and forth between the forms. Good luck on your practice. I'll see you in the next video.